The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney Group-RE Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. Andy Brownell on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. And it is time to chat again with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Great.
I could have, if it was up to me, the weather would be nicer, but it's not up to me.
You're not ready for winter in October? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, what is the matter with you? Yeah, I'm very accepting of winter when it is supposed to be winter.
In December, in January.
But then again, sometimes when we have this little early brush with this kind of weather, that means we get some really nice weather.
Yeah,
we're not
true.
supposed to have.
I can remember snow at Halloween and then a big family walk on Thanksgiving with no coats on. So who knows what's coming?
Yep, and we can't do anything about it anyway, so there you go.
Bingo. That's about exactly right.
So you obviously are out and about way more than I'm out and about.
Oh my gosh. It is crazy busy. It has really been awesome. Typically this time of the year, middle of October, end of October now, I guess I should say, right? We're closer to the end. Things start to slow down a little bit and we start to feel like, oh, okay, now we're going into our slow season. That is not the case at all. I mean, we are busy, busy, busy. And I love it. I love it.
I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not about that.
Nah, you shouldn't. We kind of saw this coming, right?
Yeah,
We've talked about this.
Pent-up demand.
Yeah, and again, we still have these crazy, amazing low interest rates. We still have low inventory. So when something hits the market, people are running to it. I have this nice couple right now that's they're doing the downsizing thing. They're getting into their late 70s and they're still living in a two-story with their bedroom upstairs. And even though they can climb the stairs just fine, they know that that's just a matter of time before it becomes difficult.
Sure.
And so they've been looking for a one-level townhome, but they want to stay under $300,000. Now they come available, but when they do, they fly off the shelves, just fly. So we have had 3 that we've scheduled appointments to see on the first day, and before we even got there, offers had been accepted.
Goodness.
Yeah. So, and that there are offers that are tough to compete with because there are people that are coming in with all cash and they're just saying, we'll give you all cash, we'll give you this much, we'll go over the price, but don't show it to anybody else. Just take our deal.
Okay. So now, when I said I don't know if I should be surprised, you said, no, you shouldn't have been, but I am actually surprised that it's that strong of a market.
Yeah,
Goodness.
and it just depends on what you're looking for. But, typically, when we've talked real estate over the course of the time we've been doing this show together, I've always mentioned that the luxury homes or the high-end homes are the ones that have taken the longest to sell. But that's absolutely not the case now. As a matter of fact, I just read an article that told me luxury home sales are up 41.5%, and this is the biggest jump since 2013. Well, can you tell me why? I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Interest rates?
Interest rates, so they're getting a whole bunch more house for the payment, and working from home, learning from home. It's like, give us some space. We don't all want to be on top of each other. So these bigger homes, not traveling as much. So let's have a home that we enjoy more. Maybe a pool is a good idea because we're not going to be taking the vacations. I mean, people are changing their lifestyle. And a lot of people don't think it'll be a temporary change. Even when COVID's under control, people are kind of getting accustomed to not being on the run. And they're kind of liking it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that, for me at least, that would be a welcome change.
Yeah, I agree.
A little less hustle bustle and a little more, you know what, let's just hang out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on. We just had our pool closed a couple days ago. We've never had our pool open all the way into the end of October. And what's really crazy is that just 9 days before we had it closed, it was 82 degrees and we had kids in there. So that pool has never been used as much as it was used this year by neighbors' kids or friends' kids or what. I mean, I loved it. I love that it got used so much.
So were you always planning to wait this long to close it down, or was it just that played with the weather?
No, they called me in about August and said, you can choose from these two dates. And one was like September 16th and the other one was like, and the other one was like October 21st. I'm like, go with October. Normally I would have probably been like, close it in September. We won't have been in it since June anyway, but no, it was good.
I think we're going to have to take you to Vegas and go to the craps table because you rolled the dice pretty good on that one. That's for sure.
I did. Yeah, I think Vegas is one place I won't be going for a while. It's never been my favorite place to go, and probably won't be going there for a little while.
I was there when I was a little kid, and I have actually no desire to go there.
Well, I've been so many times because all my real estate career, 20 years, I've gone every year for the conference, whether it was the Coldwell Banker Conference or the RE/MAX Conference. And where are the conferences? Vegas, Vegas, Vegas. They're always in Vegas. And, for some people, that's a lot of fun. For me, it's hyper stimulation.
Too many lights, too many crowds.
Too much going on.
Yeah.
I just want to, relax a little bit. But anyway, I spend most of my time in meetings and stuff anyway, so I just kind of ignore it.
Yeah. I'm not. And me with a gambling thing, I can handle a friendly game of quarters playing poker, but when I'm putting money down for real, no, thank you. I'd rather invest it in a house or something.
There you go. This is why I like you. You're a smart guy. Make a smart investment with your money. Buy real estate.
But we're talking about the luxury homes. I mean, that's over 40% increases.
That's a lot.
It's astounding is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it does underline a fundamental shift in thinking because I just said investment. And so these folks are saying rather than do this, this, and this, which had been our previous lifestyle, we're going to make this big investment.
Yeah. And, people are also buying these big luxury homes and doing VRBOs all over the country.
Oh.
Okay. And I'm not talking just in the big fancy cities. There's one in Wabasha. Beautiful house. It's right on the river. So if people rent it in the summer, they have a dock. They can put their boat in. There's a beautiful pool. I believe it's a 3-bedroom house. I've never been in the house, but that's what I've been told. And I actually know a gal who, the gal who, does hair in Wabasha, one of the gals that does hair in Wabasha, she'll go there for weddings. Like the bridesmaids will all stay there. They'll rent it and stay there, and then their hair and makeup is done there. They get their dresses on there, and then they spend the night there. So, I mean, they have their little weekend hangout. Instead of being in a whole bunch of hotel rooms up and down the hallway, they chip in and rent that house. But they get like $800 a night in Wabasha, Minnesota.
Well, you actually have a property that work perfect for that kind of thing.
That's exactly right. It's about 2 doors down. I'm like, somebody needs to come and buy my big listing and make it a VRBO and get the big bucks. So if you're out there and you're listening and you think that would be a great idea, you can use it when you want. You can VRBO it when you don't want. We probably even have somebody on our team that would manage it for you.
At $1,000 a night, you could probably find a nice hotel room to stay at while somebody's staying there for a weekend.
Right. Or go stay with your friends. Come on, what are friends for?
When you're talking the luxury homes, are there certain features that when you're out there listing these homes that people find super attractive compared to, the run-of-the-mill square footage part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think people really love the huge, big kitchens. It's funny, Andy, because sometimes I have customers who don't even really cook all that often, but they're like, I want a gourmet kitchen. And sometimes the husband or the wife will look at the other one that said it like, why? But, I think people love it because kitchens typically, they end up being the gathering space, right?
Yes, they do.
It's like when we're at friend's house, we all kind of gather around the kitchen. So I don't know. There's that, and just big rooms and lots of fireplaces, and bedrooms that have their own private baths. That's always a nice amenity.
Big walk-in closets.
Big walk-in closets. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I can see why that would be very attractive. That's for sure. But everybody else always thinks that if I had the time, I would take up cooking because
Yeah, maybe that's it. And I've even said that about myself. I would love to go to some cooking classes. I mean, I cook, but I'm certainly far from a gourmet cook, but it is kind of a fun thing.
If you have the time. Yeah, it is. I find it relaxing to do that. But
cool.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk more with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE Max Results, right here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Max Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back and good morning. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE Max Results. Here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We kind of mentioned your I don't know what I call that, your premier
luxury listing. Luxury listing.
With that beautiful front porch and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right along the river. So I guess that begs the question, how are things going in Wabasha?
You know what? Things are going awesome in Wabasha. We have been so excited to spend time in the office, and we love it when people from the town just stop in to chat and tell us that they're so happy we're here and welcoming us here. And it just, we know we made the right decision. And, whether it's Sherry in the office or Abby or Jackie and, sometimes me, there's always somebody here to help when somebody wants to just stop in or call and, get our undivided attention. And so we've had people talking to us about, I'm going to have to sell my mom's house, or I've got this going or that going. And so it's been really good. But I just had something come in my head. We were talking about the whole VRBO thing.
Yeah.
We have the Anderson house for sale.
Oh, that's right.
$475,000. And there are oodles of room. Heck, with the wedding party, you could have all your wedding guests stay there, for Pete's sakes. All your out-of-town wedding guests, and you could just say, hey, this is part of the deal. You can stay right here. I mean, honestly, I just don't understand why that place hasn't sold. It's the coolest thing. It literally is the oldest hotel in Minnesota. It's got so much history. It's got so much charm. And what a value.
Yeah, I can't believe it's that price either.
I know. I mean, I've sold so many houses for more than $475,000, and they're certainly not 15,000 square feet.
No, they're not.
It's amazing. It's
and there's so
big
much
value.
And there's so much interest in history right now.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So, and people are loving the feeling of the small town. We've had this Septoberfest going on over here, and so people come by the hordes and just walk up and down Main Street and look at all the fall decorations. Well, now it's all covered with snow, but, before that, okay, not covered. I'm exaggerating.
Well, yeah, it was close enough the other day.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no, we had like 4 inches that day.
Yeah.
And I didn't move any of my mums or anything, so it's like, well, see you, mums.
Well, guess what?
Next year. Yeah, whatever.
You were
right?
You were just buying time anyway at that point. Same thing, we brought the mums into the garage, but I'm afraid that the temperatures are very soon not going to be warm enough even to protect them in the garage.
Exactly. And what good are they in the garage? You sit in your garage at this time of the year? No.
Looking at the pretty mums.
Suck it up and realize that they're done. It's over. I said, I'm ready to put up my Christmas decorations. The heck with it. But anyway, back to Wabasha.
Yeah, when you were talking about the Anderson house, and I was thinking that, goodness, at the rates you're talking about, I'm not even that into these VRBOs or whatever they are, the short-term rentals, but
yeah.
You could pay the mortgage in
easily.
In a weekend.
I mean, honestly, it's so crazy. And the other thing I've thought of often, and I've probably even mentioned it before on the show, sometimes a couple of families are good friends, and so they decide to go together and buy a house that's on the lake or on the river for a weekend place, and they share the expense and they share the home, and that works. And sometimes it works better than other times because it just depends on, how compatible the families are. Do they use it a fair amount of time? Does one family invite more friends? That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But this place, you could have, say you have 3 families buy it together. We're talking a very minimal investment, and there's room for everybody to come and bring their friends, and it'd be awesome. I mean, it would be a really cool place for that.
I don't know if you remember the old British comedy that was on many, many, many years ago called Fawlty Towers.
No.
Oh, okay. Every time I think of that property, that's what pops in my head.
Was it some kind of haunted hotel or something?
No. It was just a really quaint, what do you call it, a boutique hotel?
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, and it was run by very eccentric people, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So why don't you come by it? You're a little eccentric.
Yeah, we got to make that trip to Vegas so I can put more in the bank account.
After you go to Vegas and don't gamble and win your fortune, you'll come by. But I don't think I'm going to wait for you to buy it. I'm gonna bank on somebody else.
So, that's a listing you've got still. Obviously,
and we have
attention to.
We have another one in Wabasha that's a really cool house. It's called the Blue Martindale House. So if you're familiar with birdhouses at all, do you know what they look like, where there's all the little windows all the way around, like each little bird has their own entrance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a house like that. It was literally designed after that, where it's 2 stories, and the top story has a balcony all the way around, and there's doors out several places, and then on the lower level, there's, I think, 3 or 4 bedrooms, and there's doors out each one. It's very unique, and it sits up on top of the hill on Skyline Drive, where you can look down over the backwaters of the Mississippi, and you can see the bluffs of Wisconsin. And I mean, I think that it's listed for $204,000. So even if you just want a weekend home, if you're not ready to move to Wabasha, I mean, it's great. Now, I do know that one of our team members has a pretty interested buyer, so maybe by the time we talk next week, that one will be sold.
Okay, well, that'd be welcome.
Yeah, that'd be fine. And all those houses I was so excited about last week that were, in that affordable price range, all of them gone. I think, what did we have, 5 or 6?
I think 5, I think.
Yeah, all gone. Gone. So
that is amazing. Definitely a seller's market, as we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So, it's tough to be a buyer, but if you're out there, just make sure you're out there with a realtor who knows what they're doing. Someone who's manipulated through this multiple offer market before, because it matters. If you think one realtor is the same as the next, you are sadly mistaken. So you definitely want to work with somebody who is well-versed and has, a lot of resources. I'm not by any means saying that don't work with an agent if they're a new agent, because, I mean, some agents are so natural that they are rock stars from the get-go. So I'm just saying, work with somebody who knows how to get the answers that you're looking for and has the resources to get them from.
I imagine part of that process for you is getting your client ready, to have all their ducks in a row.
Right, exactly. People have to be pre-approved, and where they're getting their pre-approval letter from has to be legit. Some people will come to us and say, "Oh, I'm pre-approved," and then you look at the pre-approval letter, and it's something they did online from ABC 123. Wow. Here you go. And it's like, no. And the thing is maybe that institution is legit, but the problem is that if you're in a multiple offer and I'm saying, here, I've got a pre-approval letter from this local bank that everybody knows and trusts, whether that be, Home Federal or ONB or Sterling State Bank or Bremer Bank. I mean, there's lots of great banks in Rochester. There's lots of great credit unions, the Mayo Credit Union, Think Bank. Those are all very reputable, good places that if I have a pre-approval from one of those places and I take it and I'm up against somebody who has a pre-approval from even brand named places online like Rocket Mortgage or some of those places, we don't have a person that we can call that we know that we can say, hey, how's everything going on the loan? Is everything looking good? And I feel bad because a lot of times we'll get veterans that want to use USAA, and sometimes the turnaround time and the response time It's tough. It's really tough. So, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I give to anybody is, great, you're approved through them, so you're probably legitimately approved. I'm not saying that they're not credible, but now let's get somebody that's rock solid, highly respected, that letter is going to help you secure that house because the listing agent feels so good about your lender.
So that's a part of it there. The seller looks at that and goes, yeah,
oh, definitely.
It might be enough to move you from the right pile to the left pile.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, we have taken another quick break. We're going to come back with more with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, Andy Brownell again with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Kind of shifted into a talk about how to be prepared to be a bidder in the current seller's market. And Robin, you were going over how important it is to have a local bank or mortgage or credit union or mortgage banker or whatever institution, your financial be local to get your approval to have your mortgage ready to go. Are there any other things that can really give you that little advantage?
Well, it's like anything else in life. The more prepared you are, the more successful you'll be. Right? So it's like, let's just make sure you've done your homework. So sometimes people don't even know, am I going to, they'll be out looking at houses and I'll say things like, well, I understand that you don't have to sell your house before you buy it, but is that something you plan to do or do you want to buy first? Well, I don't really know. And it's like, well, I think it's good to have a plan because sometimes it hits you like a ton of bricks if you're out looking and you didn't think you were going to move for several months and then you find something you like. Well, you're not going to wait because it's going to be gone. If you find something you like, you're going to buy it now. So I guess if you're ready to move now, then I would say look now. If you're ready to move next summer, I would say wait until late spring to start looking. Because what happens is then sometimes people get caught up in the emotions and they decide, yeah, I want this house. And then after they sign and they've bought it, they're like, oh gosh, now I got to figure out what am I going to do with my house? I got to get it on the market. I got so much to do there. And they just kind of become overwhelmed and they create kind of a lot of unnecessary stress because they don't have a well thought out, put together plan. So I always try to sit down with my buyers and talk through what does the timeline look like for you? Like basically, when does your lease end on your apartment? Do you have the option to go month to month? Or if it's somebody that's moving out of their house, I get that your house is bought and paid for and you don't have to sell it to buy this house, but if you're going to keep it and buy something first, that's fine. Are you going to start getting rid of some of the things now? Because when we go to put it on the market, I don't want you to feel the pressure of having to do that in a couple of weekends. There's just a lot to figure out. And sometimes they're just things that the consumer hasn't even thought about because it's not something that they do every day. I have been running into a lot of sellers who have said to me, Robin, I need you to kind of hold my hand and walk me through this because we've lived in this house for 35 years or we've lived in this house for 40 years or even 20 years. We haven't sold a house in a very long time and we don't even really know what that process looks like. So I think as realtors, it's really important that we never take for granted that just because this is what we do day in and day out, that we should assume that buyers know what to expect or that sellers know what to expect because a lot of times they are clueless. They don't know what to expect, and that's why they've enlisted us, the professionals, to guide them. And so I think we have to be really good at explaining, talking through, making a plan before we even get started.
And I imagine, looking at a person that's spent 30 years in a house, the actual process has changed considerably since the last time
even if
did that.
even if they did remember it. But a lot of times, this is the first time people have sold a house. They bought it, but they haven't sold one yet.
Yeah. And I suppose there's no actual right way to do this, but is it all up to the individual circumstances? Is that
Absolutely. There's so many factors that come into play. So many factors. Like, for instance, this couple that I have now, I said, okay, in the meantime, why don't we start getting rid of things? Because you know that when you move from this 2-story house into a 1-level townhome, you're not going to have room for everything. So why don't we just start putting things on Facebook Marketplace that are for sale? Why don't we start, donating things that are going to be donated? And, a lot of times they don't have somebody to help them with all of this. So we've been really good about stepping in and helping them through the whole process.
And I imagine that even psychologically, that can help because it's a smoother transition.
Oh my gosh, it makes such a difference. It takes so much stress off of their, shoulders. It just really relieves them to know that we're going to just help them through the whole thing from start to finish. And at the end, they are our most grateful clients. I promise you. Just going above and beyond and doing some things kind of outside what maybe you might think a realtor is going to do for you makes just a huge difference.
So if you're looking for somebody who goes above and beyond and helps out with all of the things we've been talking about, how do we get a hold of Robin Gwaltney?
Well, of course, I would love to help you. We have several members at the Gwaltney Group that would love to help you. So you can either go to our website, which is gwaltneygroup.com, or feel free to call my cell phone anytime, and that number is 507-259-4926.
Well, Robin, until next week, I guess. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Okay. We've been talking with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results, right here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM at 96.9 FM.